Tonight's the night. Tonight's the night.
I haven't been this excited for a football game in a minute.
You know what? You deserve it.
Me, really?
Yeah, because or the Cowboys deserve that sort of reaction from a diehard like you.
Yeah.
They're playing that well. And tonight in Detroit, Michigan, a Week 14 that has not one like tonight. But let me get the exact number right. I wasn't planning on saying this off the top, but later on when I do the full what's at stake for the week on this Thursday, 6 games, 6 between teams at 500 or better.
Ooh,
6 of them.
You gotta love it, right?
And this is where rubber's meeting the road. This is the first full slate of games tonight all the way through to Monday night in which they're all played in December. This is what the NFL schedule makers were dreaming up when they came out with this schedule, to have a game like this. And tonight's game between the Lions and Cowboys means a lot, but it's also historic. How about we'll start with that one? Okay? We'll start with that one. These two teams, this shouldn't come as a surprise, have played the most games in the history of the NFL on a Thursday. On a Thursday, because clearly these are the two hosts of Thanksgiving Day action for decades. And did you know, I don't have to play the music, don't worry about it.
All right.
Did you know this is the first time they've ever faced each other on a Thursday? No. The Cowboys and Lions have never once
That's a little wild.
played each other
That's cool.
on a Thursday. Now, the Cowboys are Thursday kings just for this year alone. They played on a Thursday in week 1. Mm-hmm. They played on a Thursday last week. They're playing on a Thursday this week. And Christmas falls on a Thursday. And they're playing the Commanders on Christmas Day, Thursday, on Netflix.
Rich, we're the Thursday night delights.
Well,
Wow.
I just coined that.
I don't like that. But I understand that you're coining, and I appreciate it. But in all seriousness, there's a lot going on here. And the Cowboys are the ones coming in playing the best football of both teams, which is something remarkable because the Cowboys were watching the Lions start 4-1 like the rest of the NFL, thinking this is now going to be the Lions' year to show everybody last year's 15-1 season can be followed up with another terrific season to dream of, even though they went 15-1 and then 15-2, pardon me, and one and done. And the Cowboys were starting slow while the Lions were starting fast. And now here we are, the first Thursday of December, and the script has flipped. As a matter of fact, the Cowboys are coming off of the first ever instance in the history of the NFL in which a team beat the previous year's Super Bowl combatants in a 5-day span. Nobody's ever done that before. Cowboys just beat the Eagles and Chiefs in a 5-day span. As a matter of fact, they're in the middle of what could be, if they win tonight, because their next game is against Minnesota, the first ever 4-game sweep in the Super Bowl era of a team going 4-0 against the previous season's teams with the 4 best records.
Wow.
That's never happened in the Super Bowl era.
Really?
As a matter of fact, the 1933 Giants are the only team in NFL history to go 4-0 in a 4-game span against the 4 best teams by a win-loss record from the previous year. Again, Eagles, Chiefs, these Lions, who had 15 wins last year, and next week's Minnesota team that is a far cry from the 14-win team a year before. The Lions, however, are in the midst of a stretch in which they've won 1 and lost 1 in consecutive weeks for 2 straight months. They went 4-1, and after going 4-1, they lost at Kansas City, but won against Tampa. Off a bye, they lost against Minnesota, but won against Washington. See what I'm doing with my voices? It's a high register Thursday, but I'm showing you wins and losses and wins and losses. Then they lose at Philly, win against the Giants, barely, and then lose to Green Bay, which means this is the time in which they win, because that's what they've been doing off of a loss. As a matter of fact, they have won 14 straight games after a loss one shy of tying an all-time NFL record if they win tonight. The last time they had a 2-game losing streak was way back when everyone's wondering if Dan Campbell really is going to bite anybody's kneecaps off ever, when they lost 5 in a row between weeks 3 and 8 of 2022. And as we know, it's all been upside for Detroit since then.
No doubt.
And in terms of tonight's game, we see not one, but both teams coming into this game ranked in the top 3 in both scoring and total offense. The last time 2 such teams met in December or later was when the Chiefs and the Eagles met in Super Bowl 57.
Super.
How about that? The last such meeting in the regular season was week 17 of 2016, when the Saints and Falcons hooked up. Eventual MVP Matt Ryan and the Falcons beat Drew Brees' Saints 38-32. Those Falcons went on to the Super Bowl and 28-3, yada, yada, yada. Every team in this matchup, such matchup, again, in which both teams ranked in both scoring and total offense in the top 3 in the NFL. This century, we have seen it. Let me get this right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. I told you the last 2, right? Mm-hmm. The Super Bowl from a couple of years ago and the Week 17, 2016 divisional round. Every single time, the winner of this game reached the Super Bowl, with the exception of the Colts and the Chiefs' 2003 divisional round of the playoffs, when Peyton Manning did beat the Chiefs but didn't make the Super Bowl because, who was making Super Bowls from the AFC back then pretty much every year. That's what's going down tonight. It's rare to see these matchups, period, between the 2 teams on a Thursday, between 2 teams that are this great on offense, between teams that are as hot as the Cowboys against competition as tough as they've been in the previous year and on occasion this year, and then the Lions needing it, because both teams coming in tonight have an 8% chance to win their divisions. Same division odds, both teams. And in terms of winning tonight, the Detroit Lions, who come into this game with a 42% chance to make the playoffs, with a win tonight, that those odds would pop up to 59%. If they lose, it falls to 22%. The margin between 59 and 22, we'll do the math, 37-point swing. That is the highest of any team in the NFC entering Week 14 with a win or a loss. No other team can swing in such a large manner with a win or a loss in the NFC entering this week than the Detroit Lions tonight. And the Dallas Cowboys, they have a 17% chance to make the playoffs right now, as well as they've been playing, because that 3-5-1 start is a tough anchor, man. Mm-hmm. With a win, it pops up to 31%.
Hey, now.
With a loss, it drops to 6%. Jeez, is it all on the line tonight or what?
Yeah. Don't nobody call me tonight.
Well, you don't ever respond to texts anyway during games. One other thing to just keep in mind, the Lions have failed on 7 straight 4th down attempts. They're going to go for it tonight.
Yeah,
I know,
always
but
happens.
Kick some field goals tonight, Dan. Come on now.
That's the longest streak of failed 4th downs in the NFL this year, and tied for the longest streak for the Lions this century. So keep an eye on that. And another thing, Goff. If he gets 89 yards passing tonight, one would think he will, even with Amon-Ra St. Brown being questionable going in. I don't think a lot of people think he's going to play tonight.
Yeah.
He gets 88 yards passing this evening. He joins Matthew Stafford as the only Lions players in team history with 20,000 career yards for the franchise.
Dang.
By the way, Goff had 18,171 with the Rams. He's climbing charts, man.
He's putting up numbers.
That is what's at stake tonight. Making the playoffs or not. Great odds with the win. Not so great with a loss. It's not as bad for the Lions. It's pretty crippling for the Cowboys. Cowboys are the ones coming in with the hot, healthy receivers and passing game. The Lions are not. The Lions, though, do not lose after a loss. At least not for the last 3 years. That's what's going down on Prime Video tonight. That's why you're jacked.
Indeed.
It's delicious, I think. I once upon a time heard that sort of matchup.
Delicious. Seriously.
Yeah, seriously.
How much can I responsibly put in the Cowboys tonight, TJ? Like, come on.
Look, man.
I mean, hold on a second. Everything I just said makes you think that?
Yeah.
Really? Why?
My eyes work. I still have 20/20 vision.
But the Lions don't lose 2 in a row. They don't.
Yeah, but statistics have no bearing on what happens tonight.
Mm-hmm. One last thing I guess I should throw in here, too. Why not? What the heck? Since Quinnen Williams arrived, DeMarvion Overshown showed up right behind him. Since those two things happened, the Cowboys are allowing 9 fewer points per game and 85 fewer yards per game on defense.
Man.
It's different. Quinnen Williams is 1.5 sacks, 7 quarterback hits, and 19 pressures in 3 games with the Cowboys. All wins. Oh, they're all more than he had in 8 games with the Jets this year. That's surprising to you too, Chris?
No, I've watched the Jets play football.
You have eyes. I got it. Yada, yada. Oh,
Hutch.
Hutch, though, is right behind Quinnen with 17 quarterback pressures since week 11. So,
Yeah, we're missing Tyler Clayton.
QB's best time, their heads on a swivel. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.